So, Jake, before we even get started today, I've been meaning to ask you this. What is the one choice in your life that, looking back, you still cannot quite believe you actually had to make? The kind of decision that sits with you for years.
Oh, that is a heavy opener, Emma. But honestly, turning down a promotion last year. Everyone around me thought I had lost my mind, and on some days I still wonder if they were right about that.
Wait, you turned down a promotion? Okay, now I absolutely have to know the whole story. But first, hello to everyone joining us today. Whether you are on a morning walk or washing the dishes right now, welcome to the show.
Yeah, a big welcome from me too, everyone. And Emma, you are not the only one who was shocked. My mom still brings it up at literally every single family dinner we have.
Well, since Jake just dropped that little bomb on us, I think it is the perfect lead-in. Today we are talking about difficult decisions, the kind that keep you awake at night and never seem to come with a clear right answer.
Exactly. And the phrase difficult decision is such a simple way to describe something that can completely change the direction your whole life ends up taking. We have all been stuck in that uneasy place before, I would bet.
We really have. I think what makes a decision hard is never the options themselves. It is that none of them feel truly safe. You end up choosing between two things you do not fully want, and that is exhausting. It really drains you in a way that is genuinely hard to explain.
That is so true. Psychologists call the feeling approach avoidance, but I just call it a nightmare. Every single option seems to come with a catch attached to it, and you cannot easily escape that nagging doubt.
Right, and there is this idiom people use all the time, being at a crossroads. It means you are at a point where you have to choose a direction, and the path you pick ends up changing everything that comes after.
I love that expression, a crossroads, like two roads literally meeting in the middle. I felt exactly that way when I had to decide between staying in my comfortable job or finally taking the leap and starting my own thing.
Okay, Jake, I want to hear the entire promotion story now. Set the scene for us. What was the job, and why on earth would any sensible person say no to moving up the ladder like that?
So, it was a management role at the company I'd been at for 6 whole years. More money, bigger title, the whole package. But it meant relocating to a city I genuinely hated and working 80-hour weeks.
80-hour weeks? Yeah, absolutely not, thank you. I mean, the money does sound nice, but at what cost, right? Did you feel real pressure from other people to just take it and stop complaining?
Oh, enormous pressure. My boss basically told me it was now or never. That phrase, now or never, means this is your only real chance, so you had better decide fast before the moment slips away completely.
That is a lot of weight to put on a person. I remember when I had to make a similar call, quitting my stable office job to do this podcast full-time. Pretty much everyone told me I was being reckless. My family could not believe I would walk away from a steady paycheck.
Reckless? Emma, you? Honestly, though, I get it completely. Reckless just means doing something without properly thinking about the danger. But sometimes the safe choice is actually the risky one. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That is the paradox right there. Staying put can be just as dangerous as leaving. So when you are weighing it up, and weighing it up means carefully considering both the good and bad sides, how did you start?
I made a literal list, pros and cons. Old school, I know. But it helped me see that the con of losing all my free time mattered far more to me than the pro of a slightly fancier title.
Lists genuinely help so many people, but here is where I gently disagree. Sometimes a list cannot capture the stuff that actually matters, like how a certain choice makes you feel deep down in your gut.
Oh, absolutely. I think the list got me to about 80% clarity, but the last 20% was pure feeling. People say go with your gut, meaning trust your instinct, and I finally understood what that really meant.
Your gut instinct. I love that we keep sneaking in these little useful phrases. So after the list, what was the actual moment you said no? Was it some big dramatic scene with everyone watching?
Not dramatic at all. Very anticlimactic, actually. I just emailed my boss on a Sunday night. But my hands were shaking the entire time I typed it out.
Saying no felt like slamming a heavy door shut.
Shaking hands, that physical reaction tells you everything you need to know. I had the opposite problem with my own decision. I told myself I was fine, totally calm, but I could not sleep properly for weeks on end. The weird part was feeling calm while my body sounded the alarm.
Insomnia City, as you once called it. But yeah, the body keeps score. Even when your brain insists you are okay, your body knows a genuinely big decision is coming down the road and reacts accordingly.
It really does. And there is this expression, to lose sleep over something. It means to worry about a thing so much that you literally cannot rest. I definitely lost sleep over quitting my comfortable job.
Same here, just in a slightly different way. I lost sleep wondering if I was throwing away years of real effort. Throwing away, like tossing something valuable straight into the bin. That is honestly how it felt at the time.
That fear of wasting everything you have already built, it is so real and so heavy. But Jake, did anyone actually support your decision, or were you completely alone in thinking it was the right call to make?
My sister was firmly on my side. She said, "You only get one life. Do not spend it miserable just to look successful to other people." That completely reframed it for me, meaning she helped me see it from a different angle.
What a brilliant sister. That reframing is huge, and I think we underestimate how much one sentence from the right person can shift everything. For me, a friend said, "Worst case, you can always go back to an office job."
Right, and worst case thinking is actually really useful. If the worst case is something you could survive, then the risk suddenly feels a lot smaller. My worst case was just being broke and bored, not actually homeless.
Broken bored is a very specific fear, I will give you that. But listen, I want to push back gently here. Not every hard decision comes with a safety net. Some are truly permanent, like having kids or moving countries. I think that is what makes those choices so terrifying to even consider.
True, those are burning bridges decisions. Once you do it, you cannot easily undo it. Burn bridges means destroying a connection, so you can never go back. Moving abroad definitely burned a few of my own personal ones.
Burned bridges. I like that one, even if it sounds a bit destructive. I moved from my hometown to the coast 3 years ago, and yeah, a few friendships simply faded away because of the distance between us.
Distance is absolutely brutal on friendships, no question. But was the move worth it in the end? That is the real test of any difficult decision. Not how scary it felt, but whether you would actually choose it again.
100% worth it. The coast gave me space to breathe, both literally out in the fresh air and mentally in my head. Would I choose it again? Without a single moment of hesitation. That is how I knew.
Outweighed, like on a scale, the relief was heavier than the fear. I felt that too, eventually. The relief of saying no to that promotion grew bigger than the fear of disappointing all the people around me.
Disappointing people is the hidden cost that nobody ever warns you about. We focus on the money or the logistics, but the emotional part, letting someone down, that is often the hardest slice of the whole thing.
The hardest slice. I like that phrasing. My boss was genuinely hurt, I think. Not angry, just quietly confused. And I had to sit with that discomfort instead of rushing to fix it, which was completely new for me.
Sitting with discomfort is such a grown-up skill to learn. We are so wired to fix things immediately, meaning naturally inclined to solve problems right away. But a difficult decision sometimes just needs you to sit in the mess. Most of us were never really taught how to simply wait.
Exactly. I am wired to please people, so disappointing my boss went against my entire personality, and it took real effort. Recognizing that about myself actually made the choice easier to defend when others questioned it later.
You are wired to please. Same here, honestly. That is why my hard decisions almost always involve other people's feelings somehow. Okay, small tangent. Do you ever replay the decision in your head like a film?
Constantly. I will be making coffee and suddenly think, what if I had taken it after all? That is what-if thinking, imagining alternate versions of your life. And it is exhausting, but apparently totally normal for most people.
It is normal, and it is called ruminating, turning a single thought over and over until it wears you out. I ruminated for months about my job. But here's the thing. The what-ifs do get quieter with time. Truly.
Mine got quieter once I saw my sister thriving in her own risky choice. Watching someone else be brave makes your own decision feel less crazy. Less crazy, that is the technical term. Or at least my technical term.
Less crazy. Clinically proven by us. But seriously, role models help so much. When I doubted the podcast, I would listen to creators who had left stable jobs. It made me feel like I was not delusional, just early.
Just early. I love that reframe. Not wrong, just ahead of the curve. Speaking of curves, my very next hard decision came completely out of nowhere and blindsided me in a way I never saw coming.
Ooh, blindsided. That means hit by something you genuinely did not see arriving. I felt blindsided when a close friend moved away the exact same month I quit my job. A real double whammy. What was your surprise?
My dad got sick, and suddenly I had to decide whether to move back home to help care for him. No list could ever prepare me for that. It was not a career thing at all. It was a heart thing, plain and simple.
Oh, Jake, I am so sorry. That is a completely different weight to carry. Career decisions feel almost reversible next to family ones. It is the kind of news that rearranges what matters most. How did you even begin to process something so big and so sudden all at once?
I did not process it, honestly. I just acted. Sometimes the right decision is not thought through at all. It is simply felt in the moment. I packed a bag that very night, and that small act meant everything was changing.
Acting from the heart when there is no time to think. That is a whole other category of difficult decision. Did you struggle with the guilt of leaving your own life behind for a while to be there?
Every single day without fail. Guilt is the tax you pay for putting someone else first. The tax you pay, like a price you accept. And I think that is the most honest way to describe caring for a parent.
The tax you pay? That one is going straight into my notes. Guilt really is the price we hand over. But Jake, would you say that decision, as painful as it undoubtedly was, also gave you something valuable in return?
Without question it did. I got 6 months with my dad that I would have missed otherwise. Would not trade it, meaning I would not exchange it for anything. And those months reshaped how I see time and success.
Would not trade it. That phrase carries so much quiet weight. It makes me think maybe the decisions we struggle with the most are the very ones that teach us the most, even when we wish we had not needed the lesson.
Big agree. Sorry, that is just my casual way of saying totally. The struggle with my promotion choice taught me my time is worth far more than any title ever could. Though it definitely took me a while to learn.
Time over titles. That is a mantra I need printed on a t-shirt. But I wonder, do you think we overthink decisions because deep down we believe there is one perfect answer waiting somewhere for us?
Oh, 100% we do. We chase the right answer like it is hidden just around the corner. But most decisions are simply trade-offs. A trade-off means you gain one thing while you lose another. Rarely a perfect pick.
Trade-offs. Yes, exactly. Once I accepted that every single choice cost something, the pressure finally dropped. I stopped hunting for the perfect job and started looking for the good enough one that would let me actually grow.
Good enough is wildly underrated. Perfectionism paralyzes people. I see it in friends who have stayed in bad jobs for years because they are waiting for the flawless next move. And of course, it never actually comes to them.
Paralyzed by perfection. That is a real and nasty trap. I almost did not start this podcast because the setup was not perfect. The mic was cheap, the room echoed badly, and I almost talked myself out of the whole idea.
The echo. I still remember that first episode. But done is better than perfect should be on every single creator's wall. Shipping something a little messy beat waiting forever for the ideal set of conditions to appear.
Right? And you know that mindset, accepting good enough, actually made my hard decision easier. Once I gave myself permission to be imperfect, quitting my job felt far less like a terrifying leap into nothing.
A leap, like jumping without seeing where you will land. A leap of faith means trusting things will work out, even when you cannot see how. That is what both our big choices really were when you think about it.
A leap of faith. Exactly that.
I could not see the landing, but I jumped anyway. And Jake, your no to the promotion, that was a leap too, just in the opposite direction. Leaps are not always forward, are they?
Never thought of it that way before. Saying no felt like standing still, but really I was leaping away from something. Leaping away, protecting myself, I suppose. And both directions absolutely take real courage. You're right.
Courage in both directions. I am putting that on my list of things to remember. Okay, practical question now. When you are properly stuck, do you sleep on it? That means delay the choice until the morning arrives.
I do now, for sure. A clear head in the morning reveals what a tired brain quietly hides from you. But I used to decide at midnight, panicked, and those midnight calls rarely ever went well for me.
Midnight panic decisions, we have tragically all made them. The trick is recognizing when your own brain is simply too tired to be trusted with anything important. I write, decide tomorrow on a sticky note when I feel that spiral.
A sticky note rebellion against your own anxiety? I love it. Spiral. When worried thoughts spin faster and faster. Naming it out loud helps me step back. Language really does give you a healthy bit of distance.
Naming the feeling, that is such a small but genuinely powerful tool. When I say, I am spiraling, I am already one step outside the feeling. It is like labeling the storm instead of being fully swept up in it.
Beautifully put. And swept up means carried away by something far bigger than you. We get swept up in other people's opinions during hard choices all the time. Their fear becomes our fear if we are not careful.
So true. Other people's fear is the sneakiest influence of all. When I quit, colleagues warned me about the market instability. Their anxiety, not actual facts. Stability sounded like safety, but honestly felt more like a cage.
A cage. That is vivid and accurate. My boss used stability too, like a magic word that ended arguments. But his stability meant my life serving his company. I had to separate his definition from mine. Tricky, but necessary.
Separating their definition from yours, that is the real work nobody mentions. I think the healthiest move is asking, whose life am I actually living with this choice? Mine or the version people expect of me?
Whose life? Yes. That question cuts straight through everything else. When I asked it, the promotion answer became clear. It was my mom's dream of status, not my dream of freedom. Status versus freedom. Easy once named out loud.
Status versus freedom. I am writing that one down too. It is funny how naming the real trade-off makes the decision almost obvious. Not easy, but obvious. There is a real difference between a choice being easy and being clear.
Not easy, but clear. That is the sweet spot we want. If the choice is clear, you can act even when it is hard. The worst place to be is unclear and hard, and that is exactly where people get stuck for years.
Stuck for years, heartbreaking, and sadly common. I had a friend who stayed in a relationship for a full decade because leaving felt both unclear and hard. She needed that clarity we are talking about to finally move.
Clarity does not always arrive as a lightning bolt, though. Sometimes it is a slow dawn. A slow dawn meaning it gets lighter gradually. She found hers eventually, and leaving got clear first, then slowly easier after that.
A slow dawn. I love that image so much. Not every decision arrives with fireworks and fanfare. Some just brighten slowly until you can finally see the path ahead. That has been true for almost every big call I have made.
Same here, and I think that is genuinely reassuring for our listeners. You do not have to have it all figured out at once. Figured out means understood completely. You can decide with partial clarity and simply grow into it.
Grow into it. Yes, exactly. I grew into my podcast life completely. Month 1, I was terrified. Month 12, I could not imagine doing anything else. The decision did not magically get easier. I just got more myself inside it.
More myself. That phrase again. The right hard decision often makes you feel more like the real you. My no to the promotion made me more myself too, once the dust settled. Dust settled. Things finally calmed down.
When the dust settles, you recognize yourself again. That is a beautiful test for any choice. Does it bring me closer to who I am or further from it? I use that question constantly now when I feel stuck.
Constantly. Same here. And bring me closer versus further from, it acts like a compass. My dad's decision brought me closer. Painful as it was, the promotion would have taken me further from myself. Clear, not easy. Again.
A compass, not a calculator. I think that is the biggest lesson from all of our hard choices. Stop calculating and start listening. The numbers and the lists never capture the real truth of an actual human life we are living.
A calculator cannot measure a soul. Bit dramatic, but I mean it. We have both made peace with messy, uncalculated choices. Made peace, accepted them without regret, and that quiet acceptance is the real finish line we reach.
Made peace. That is exactly where I want to land for our listeners today. If you are facing a hard decision tonight, know this. There is no perfect answer, only the one you can live with and genuinely grow from.
Well said. And live with means accept it long term, not just survive the moment. Give yourself real grace through this. The fact that it is hard means it matters. Indifference is the only true failure here, I honestly think.
Indifference is the failure, not a wrong choice. That reframes everything for me. A wrong choice you learn from is a win compared to a life you never once dared to actually choose. Jake, this has been such a real conversation.
It really has been, honestly. Talking it through made me appreciate my own messy decisions so much more. Appreciate seeing the value in something. I see the value now even in that scared, shaky Sunday night email I sent.
The shaky Sunday night email that quietly changed your whole life. I love that image for our listeners to hold on to. Before we wrap up, any last thought for someone staring at a crossroads right this very minute?
Yeah, you do not have to rush. Crossroads are not on a timer. On a timer means forced by a deadline. Unless it truly is, give yourself room. The right call often appears exactly when you stop gripping so tight.
Stop gripping so tight. That might just be the kindest piece of advice from this entire episode. Thank you, Jake, for sharing the promo, your dad, and all of it with us. And thank you, everyone, for sitting with us through the hard stuff.
Thanks for having me, Emma. And to our listeners out there, whatever you are deciding right now, be gentle with yourself. The difficult decisions are usually the very ones that end up loving you back the most. Take care, everyone.